Welcome back to Buff-A-Touille. Today we're going to make something a little differently than we normally would. We're going to make one of our favorite side dishes, I guess, that we would have with one of our meals. Interestingly enough, that would be asparagus. So don't turn off that video. Here's the deal. A lot of us have eaten asparagus in a lot of different ways in the past, whether it's boiled or steamed or just some nasty way. Sometimes we get it served to us as a side dish at, we're having steak or some other dish at a restaurant. And they're typically these nice, healthy, long stalks. And you're like, boy, this is kind of woody. We're going to solve that for you. And we're going to make asparagus so good, you're probably going to want it every day. A recent experience I had with another family member here, who I won't use their name, but it's my wife's father. He hated asparagus, and I said, I bet we can change that. So we recently made asparagus for breakfast, and he is now an asparagus convert. So we're going to teach you what to do today. We love it so much, we actually have 3 batches of asparagus. And first I'll show you one of the tricks to remove the woody part of the asparagus, and then I'll show you the fast and easy way. All right, so let's get started. All right, before we proceed, let's talk about the anatomy of an asparagus. Okay, this end here is the most delicious part, right down here. This end here is the yucky part. And you can see here when it comes processed or, from a store, it's already dried out and it's awfully woody. So the goal is to remove the yucky part and eat the yummy part. Now, the first technique I'm going to show you will probably only save about half of the asparagus, and that's all right. But if you really love it, you might want a little bit more. But the trick my mother taught me was to just bend it, and it will naturally break off. You'll break off the yucky part. You throw that apart, throw that away, and you get the yummy part. Okay, so that's one way to do it. And when you're just doing one batch of asparagus, it doesn't take too long. But when you're doing as much as we are, there's a much faster way. So we're going to show that to you next. All right, so when you buy asparagus, typically it comes with some rubber bands on it. There's usually one at the top, one at the bottom. Leave one of those bottom ones on. Use it as a little bit of a guide. Then if you get a nice big knife like this, thank you to my brother. Now, we have just rapidly removed a whole bunch of the yucky parts. And we'll dispose of those. I'm sure you could find a use for that, but not in this kitchen. Yeah. Maybe you can make some asparagus stock, or seriously, you could put it in with some kind of stock. I don't know if it'll be good with, but you can do it. Look at that, we got a whole bowl full of these delicious asparagus stalks. All right, now what? Well, as you can see here, our pan is really overflowing. So the pan I was going to use today needs to be replaced. So we're going to turn this into 2 pans, I think, just because the one I was going to use is larger. So if you grab me another pan. All right, so now we got another pan, actually, probably the one I was looking for in the first place. We're going to spread these out on here. Pan. Okay, that looks pretty good. All right, so what are we doing here? Well, we got the oven preheated here at 375. Now we're going to use a wonderful blend here of olive oil. So we've got it doesn't matter, find the olive oil you like, it doesn't really matter, I don't think, but this is the one we're using today. We're going to go ahead and coat this pretty well with olive oil. How much am I putting on? Well, I don't know, a lot. Now, you don't want to probably turn on your oven much higher. I'm not sure what the smoke point is of this, but I'm sure at 400 or so, you'd probably start to see a little smoke. So 375 is a good number. Now we're going to go ahead and put on some salt, pepper, garlic, SPG. It's the one we're using. We go through a lot of this. Give it a nice little seasoning here. All right, and then before I put on the last ingredient, I'm going to make sure that this is well coated. This is served, as a side dish, like I said, but also it's really good with eggs. So sometimes we'll do like a French scrambled egg or a French omelet, have it with that, or we'll just eat it as an appetizer for a meal, or we'll eat it on the side, but we never have leftovers. We found one in here we don't like, so we like to throw out those. We're sorting this out here. Okay, so we got some nice coating on everything. Now we'll put on our last ingredient after I get some oil off my hands. Okay, so now we're going to put on our final ingredient, Parmesan cheese. As we talked about, cheese and butter make the world go round. But on a healthier diet, if you don't want to use butter, olive oil also makes a wonderful alternative. Boy, maybe Buff-A-Touille should quit talking so he focuses on not putting on too much Parmesan. Well, that's impossible. You cannot put on too much. That's the beauty of this. How's that look? Pretty delicious? All right, now we're gonna coat this one here. Parmesan does some wonders besides providing a dairy context. It also, there's enough saltiness in it. It really brings out a really nice umami, especially mixed with the olive oil. So before we move off of that subject, if I didn't have asparagus, I would use these exact same ingredients to make a bread dipping sauce. Olive oil, Parmesan cheese, salt, pepper, garlic. Stir it up, dip your bread in it. Bam, you'll love it. Okay, so it's looking pretty good. Yeah, okay. We're gonna go ahead and load these in the oven. And I'm not gonna tell you how long to put them in for because it's more of a visual, but it's probably gonna take a while. What we're looking for is for these asparagus to really shrink. We almost want it to look burnt. So you'll see a really big difference when we're done. And that's what really makes the difference here, is if you really cook it longer than you think you should. So we're gonna go ahead and load those in the oven and we will show you when they're done. All right, so we just took it out of the oven. It was in there 32 minutes. We'd like it to be just a little crispier sometimes, so I'm just gonna pull one off here. This one here is probably a little too crispy on the top, but it might not be. So there's no harm at all in going extra long and make them extra crispy. However, we went for a nice middle ground here. We have a plate of them here. So this is what we're gonna enjoy. It shrunk down probably 50% in size. All right, now for my favorite part. Woo! Yeah, nailed it again. So I'm really excited to eat the rest of this. It's really pretty wild, the fact that we just cooked 3 batches of asparagus. There are just a handful of us here today. It'll be gone. So I guess when you're planning for this, I'd probably plan maybe half a batch per person. But otherwise, thanks for joining us today. Check out our other videos that we have on Buff-A-Touille. This is our 25th video we've made, so it's a pretty exciting one for us. So far, we thank you for all your support, and thank you for joining us on another Buff-A-Touille experience.